S&OP community by Ahmed Khalid and Ahmed Al-Hamamsi from Middle East. Our global S&OP community podcast mission is to build a global community from supply chain, marketing, trade marketing, sales and finance all over the world, where everyone's voice could be heard and listened. Every week, we host a new episode with great thought leader in the S&OP industry. We believe that one word, one story, or one conversation could open up the light in the screen of your consciousness and you'll never be the same again. We discuss hot and trending topics with our subject matter experts by asking the right questions that uncover their valuable experience in our show. You can visit our website ahmedkhaled.co. Stay tuned every week with our global S&OP community podcast.
Hello, and welcome everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to our global S&OP podcast. Knowledge you'll not find in books, of course, introducing and interviewing global thought leaders in S&OP, not only in finance, not only in supply chain, marketing, sales, in all aspects of the business. And of course, here it is the place where you find your voice will be heard and listened to, of course, and we want you to share with us. We want you to come with us and ask us questions, of course, and we're trying to, of course, to share with you our knowledge through our global experts. Apparently, of course, my friend Ahmed, he has some glitches now, but I'm here, of course, and we'll be taking all our questions today. We have a special guest, of course, in S&OP, and we're talking about a subject, a very important subject today, about MTO and ETO, of course, which is the make to order, engineer to order. These, of course, of some kinds. We have also make to stock, and these are all types, of course, of how to handle the business. And we'll be talking deeply with our guest today from Egypt, of course, and he has a lot of experience as an EPICS instructor and years of experience in supply chain. He will be with us shortly, of course, and we'll be introducing Ahmed Kabil with us. So Chandra Malik from LA, California, of course, will be warming up with you till the glitches, and Ahmed is back with us on stage. Thank you, Chandra, for joining us. And yes, we are all well here. It's a little bit hot here in UAE, but we're all well. Join us all, please, and we're waiting for your questions, and we're waiting, of course, for our guest and for Ahmed. In few minutes, they will be joining us. So, as I was telling you today, we are having a very important Muhammad Fawzi. Thank you for joining us from Egypt. Hi, Muhammad. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us. Yeah, we're trying now. Ahmad is trying to connect. and Kabil also, Ahmad Kabili, will joining us. He's a great expert. He'll be joining us today talking about MTO as we're talking about MTO and ETO. Ahmad is back here. Ahmad, how
Uh,
are you doing?
sorry, guys. Maybe I'll say happy Ramadan, but sorry just for the technical glitch that we have. Uh, I'm sure that Hamamsi, you give the amazing
Yeah, I
introduction.
gave introduction and we talked a little bit about our subject today, but I was waiting, of course, for you to introduce our guest. Talk about a little bit
Definitely.
about our subject. So
Sure. I
let's
hope
go.
that there
Yeah,
is no technical glitch more, but I'll try to make it
no
very.
issues. Yeah,
so,
always
so
happens. Some things
yeah.
like this. Yeah.
Thank you, Hamamsi. So I want to send some greetings for our audience today, or listening and watching us right now. So please don't forget to write in the comment where are you from, so we can send you some warm greetings for yourself and your country as well. And actually, I'm so excited for our episode today because we are going to speak about very unique topic. And not only that, but also we'll have, like as Hamamsi said, we'll have very unique thought leader and subject matter expert in that field. And managing S&OP in the make to stock industry is very common, mostly across, I would say, wide varieties and ranges of companies. And to balance the demand and supply in the make to stock industry, you have to simply improve your forecast accuracy from the demand side, and at the same time also maintaining the right safety stock that can cater for any variability in the demand or just supply side. So in the make to stock industries, it's all about inventory optimization games versus the desired service levels that you want to maintain. But what about the make to order industry? What about even the engineer to order environment? How S&OP can manage this complexity in that manner? And in the MTO and the ETO industries, maintaining the safety stock doesn't mean that the company will be more responsive. So the main reason is that you could definitely have a totally different projects and totally unique products that you haven't had before in your history, in your company, even portfolio. And if you maintain safety stock from the wrong items or wrong components, then welcome to obsolete era of inventory, and welcome even to the business waste, which will lead into a dilution into your margins of your company. Then what could be the solution to manage such complexity with customers who is looking always for a short lead time and high responsiveness? I'm sure it's a very interesting question for all of us. That's why we have today our great thought leader who will reveal the answer behind this question and more of definitely your questions. And our thought leader today is definitely Ahmad Qabil. So Ahmad Qabil, uh, Uh, I wouldn't speak just, from the technical side, but our thought leader, Ahmad Qabil, I work very closely with him, even in a personal level. And I gained many, many experience and great values from this guy, really. Our thought leader today, he is a supply chain manager at Schneider Electric. And if we mentioned the resilience, then his name should be there. And if we talked about positivity, his name should be also worth it. And if we talked about his passion, then we should mention the supply chain very loudly. He has more than 14 years of experience in the supply chain across multinational companies and definitely various industries. He started his career in ABB Egypt as a production and industrial engineer. Then he joined one of the best multinational companies in the world in FMCG sector, which is Unilever, to pursue his planning excellence career and nourish his knowledge there. And he is now the supply chain manager, as we spoke for Schneider Electric Egypt. And yes, knowledge could be definitely powerful, but applied knowledge is even more powerful. That's why Ahmed is working as a part time supply chain instructor to teach people and even students how to apply the supply chain in their companies with his great experience and great knowledge. So, may I ask you, please, and as usual, before introducing our thought leader, Ahmed Qabil, let's give him the beautiful applause.
Ahmed, how are you doing?
Dr. Ahmed,
Welcome
how
to
are
the
you?
show, Ahmed.
Hello, hello,
Great.
Ahmed. Hello, Hansi. Thank you so much for the great introduction. It's really meant to me. Uh, Ramadan Kareem for everybody, Ramadan Kareem for you and for Hamsi and for everybody.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure to be with you today.
Thank you,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you, Kabil. Thank you for giving us just your amazing time. Again, we keep saying this. We will have today a knowledge that we will never have it in any books with our great experience. So before just we start our lovely episode, can we send some greetings for our lovely audience? Not sure that if I
Sure, sure.
missed a lot at the beginning, but
No,
let's
just Fauzi and Sushandra. We welcome Fauzi and Sushandra. Hi, Fauzi, how are you doing?
yes, we
Thank you so
have
much
our
for
friend
joining
Fauzi.
us.
Thank you so much, Fauzi, for just giving us your food. Muhammad
So,
Fauzi, wish to meet you soon.
yes,
Thank you so much. We
thank you.
definitely we have to. Thank you, Muhammad. Our great brother Nidal Heikal. Great to see you, my friends. Happy blessed Ramadan. Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for
Nadal.
tuning in. Our
From Houston,
amazing
Texas.
LinkedIn user.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
joining. If you
so
can tell
much.
us who you are, yeah? Thank you so much for
It's
joining.
technical challenge, but anyway, we will get over it. Thank you. We have our friend Amel Salam from Algeria. Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining.
Thank you for tuning in. Our
Marvin
friend
Rolando, Osorio Campus from Guatemala, I believe. Thank you so
Guatemala.
much
Yes.
for joining. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining. Our friend Zil Huma Nilazi.
Niazi. Niazi,
Yes,
yeah.
Niazi.
Thank you.
Niazi.
Hi. Thank you for
Thank,
joining. Thank you for
thank
joining.
you. So, guys, again, please feel free to ask whatever question into your mind. Definitely, we'll start our first question, but we are here for you. Just let us know if you have any question into your mind around this topic, because I know that it's a very burning topic that we have never discussed. They just discussed it before, and we have great thought leader that will reveal a lot of secrets today for all of us around this topic. So, Qabil, let's start with our first question. So, what is the difference between S&OP in the normal way that most people they know, make to stock industry, and the make to order industry or engineer to order industry?
Okay, this is a very interesting question. So, as you said, simply the make to stock industry, there is the standard product portfolio that the company have, and also there is the standard bill of material that the product have. So it's more or less, as you said, it's the challenge is in the dynamic or maybe the speed of the route to market, how to go, how to access the market, the stock management, and this kind of many challenges. However, in the MTO and ETO, it's a bit different because the willingness of the customer to wait for the product is different. So the customer usually will wait because he makes some unique design that's not common with other customers. So for sure he's willing to wait some time. And in this aspect, it combined between the standard of S&OP process with the project management process as well. So the key factor here is how to build, how to define your challenges for the S&OP, for make to order and engineer to order, especially when you have also the dynamics of the project management field itself. So there is some important tips that you have to consider when you are having the S&OP for ETO and for MTO as well. The first one is to define your product roadmap. So it's very important to understand where are the customer allowed to change, in which phase of the projects, and in which phase in the product life cycle you are building for of more or less modular product which have some
Mhm.
standard features and some options, or it's there's some option that can be created from the beginning. So definitely the first step which usually we have in the MTS environment or the food industries or whatever, that there is promotion planning and uh, activity planning, like the new launches. No, in ETO you have to define the product roadmap itself. So it's very important. It's key. It have to join a lot of different departments like R&D, like product engineering, which they have to make sure where we want to position this product in the coming 2 and 3 years. It's very important. It's essential to start off collecting even the demand on that, because as you can imagine, you can when you can start in that, you can have some issues, like there is some products that it will decline and it will phase out soon. And the new product engineering, it will be different scenario, will speak to different feature, will speak to different customers. So this kind of stuff, product roadmap, is essential, because as you know, in ETO world there is not a lot of promotional planning, because there is no promotion in terms of discount rates or consumer gifts or something like that. However, it's very important that you have the roadmap of your product that can make solution with optimized cost in different projects in the regions and the fields that you are building. So this is the first different between MTO and MTS, and the ETO and the MTS environment. The second one, which is very important, is that you are forecasting projects or tenders. So usually when the customers come to your company to make some quotation about some project they want to build, they make general specification, and it's in the early stage of tendering. And to go across the different cycle of the S&OP, even in the sales cycle. So there is the quotation pre-sales activity, and then there is the sales activity, initiation of the sale, and then there is the engineering activity, and then there is the start of procurement activity, then the start of production activity, then the start of testing activity, and at the end delivering to the customer. So it's very important to combine those milestone planning with your S&OP cycle, in which S&OP cycle you will tackle which milestone. This is very important and key, because from experience in the market, it differs from fields to another. However, it's key that both together are combined and very strong, giving the updates through strong system together. So to tackle the second important dilemma of the industry of the ETO, which is you don't have standard bombs. So what you will do? What how come you will transfer this
Focus
projects
into
to
material.
resource,
Yeah.
not even material, but also the resource planning in your capacities?
Yeah.
It's different,
Yes. Yes.
because one project can be built in standard hours, other can be complex or it's not easy. So it's not that standard hours, it's different standard hours. So how you define from the early stage
The
your
capacity requirement.
yes, your pipeline of quotation, how you define to tackle your resource planning, either that capacity or material or even cash flow, because as you can
Yeah.
imagine, the lead time of the project as well is different than the fast consumer product companies. So it's different in the cash flow as well. So there's some aspect in the project management aligning with the S&OP have to be there to tackle the most important dilemma, which is delivering to the customer in the right expectation, tackling the optimization of your resources, either inventories of material or capacities, because usually this kind of projects are assembly based or labor based activities. So it's not, you will not find engineer to order environment with high speed lines. It cannot be. It's as you know from even Apex or whatever, in each supply chain book, the when the variety is so much, the volume become less. So you will not find this kind of high speed lines. You will find labor intensive industry, which you have to take care of your labor headcount planning and capacity to be in place. So the main difference is how to handle the forecast So the demand is very important. Pipeline of opportunities. First, how to define the roadmap for the product. So, and how to define the resource planning, either its capacities or inventories. Those are the main differences when we handle from MTS to MTO and ETO industries.
This is brilliant, of course, Kabil. Thank you so much for like intensive explanation, and I think it was clear and really good to hear this difference between engineering to order, make to order, and make to stock, of course, in practice. And you took both of that. You worked in FMCGs, and you worked in electric industry like Schneider. You started in ABB. All has, of course, difference in S&OP and in handling project management. Of course, it's different. And I know that, of course, I worked also in FMCG and pharmaceuticals. It's different to handle S&OP here and there. Because you have also tenders, and you have to quote for tenders, wait, and you have a very high risk. Maybe you can lose the tender. Maybe you can buy all the
Yeah,
materials and then you
yeah,
lose the tender, and you try to forecast based on the last awarded price and all that. So it's a big dilemma. But at the end of the day, you must find a way. Every company, of course, has its unique way to handle it, and every industry has different roadmap, as you're mentioning. Uh, thank you, Kabil, for this answer. If we take our first question from our audience, of course, Samah Al-Bahnasawi is saying, hello, mates, interesting topics, and thanks for your efforts. Thanks, Samah, for joining us. He
thank
was
you, Sam.
talking about the global supply chain disruption, how MTO, ETO is
Yeah,
operating, especially when you don't have full visibility on your requirements.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, what do you think about that, Qabil?
First of all, greeting Sameh. He's one of my best friends and colleagues
Great.
that I learned from in Unilever in my Unilever time. So
Yeah.
it's a very interesting question. It is tough. It is tough in the MTO and ETO. I do agree. Like Ahmed Khalid said in the beginning of the session, uh, that the inventory optimization model is different because you don't have the clear visibility on
Yes.
the requirement. However, you this period you have to deep dive in the demand. The
Yeah.
demand here is key. So in this period, there is different techniques that you can tackle the demand in using the leverage of market insights and engineering capability of your company to tackle which parts are really needed in the pipeline. So the good there is good part in the ETO and the MTO environment that the tenders where you have is the quotation. So
Yes.
you will not find one customer come and ask for a product without quotation. So
Yes.
in this quotation, there is timing for this quotation that usually
Yes.
tendering team and the engineering team are building this quotation. This time, you as supply chain, you have to seize this opportunity. You have to tackle this demand in different aspect, and you have to deep dive inside it. When you have
Mm.
global disruption, when you have high uncertainty, you have to search in your magic box. I say
Mm.
that this is your magic box. You have the customer already give you some sort of indication of what he will need. You
Yes.
have to be more aggressive and more analytical in terms of analyzing this demand. So these projects you can do a lot of things. First one is to make site surveys at the customer site to make sure that the quotation is tackling the solution of the customer. So to make sure the quotation is valid and tackling the customer solution. Second is to make some effort with engineering and tendering team to define the key critical long lead time parts inside these tenders. This is very important, as this can put you in a different way in with your procurement team in terms of securing supplier capability to build this in your expected time. During the global disruption, yeah, you have to build some stocks as like the MTS environments. but these stocks have to be very careful. Especially, you have to calibrate your basic configurations or your famous configurations. So this is very, very important. And also in the as I said, in the special solution, you have to dive in your demand. You have to explore it. You have to challenge with your tendering and engineering team, the sales team, and the customer right solution, to make sure that you are calibrating the right solution needed by the customer. Then you can define it on your system, on your operating system, and then you can tackle it with your supply chain capability team.
Great, great, Ahmed. And again, I think what you just, if you allow me, just summarize this. I think the ETO, just engineering to order, and make to order, it's all about, if I just put it in the functional way, I would say just from the downstream side, how can you prepone contracts and how we can have the visibility on the long term and close the contract in the right manner. As you said, that I think it's all about the quotation. So if you have a strong sales team that they can secure the visibility on the long term, definitely this will help you in your S&OP to have the right actions earlier. This is just from the downstream. I think you have mentioned very critical one, which is the engineering also. Engineering, and I think one of the biggest part in that manner, it's the engineering part and procurement, as well as even the supplier development. Because imagine with me, if you have like a unique project, and if we didn't have like, we have some components, we need some components, and these components are not already in our portfolio. So the, I think the agility and responsiveness of the supply chain at this manner, just to find a supplier and to develop as much as we can in a very fast way, this will also help you just to balance the demand and supply and close the deal with the customer themselves. Because I'm sure 100% there will be always a change. As you said, we went through the phases of the project itself, from the starting, from just the quotation, and then we go for the just the purchasing part, and then testing, and then being delivered. All of this, I think, also in that way, there is a change from the customer side, which is, I think it needs like a balance between the supply and demand.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Khalid. And it's very important that we can realize that we have to build different capability of supply chain and business leaders in the ATO and the MTO industry. For example, we can understand that procurement team have a very big job to do, as you said,
Yeah.
and they also have very important role in managing and segmenting the supplier that can be able to deliver that type
Yes.
of business. Because in ETO, as I was saying to Hamamsi, there is very big variability in number of SKUs that you are ordering, and there is low volume. So it's high mix, low volume type or nature of procurement. And as you can imagine, this is the totally different than the economy of a scale for each supplier. So supplier can have to build his investment plan in different way and costing structure in different way to absorb this kind of additional cost and put it with the right pricing strategy and availability of the resources
100%.
and technical capability to deliver the product in the right way with optimized, more or less, economy. So this is very important. Yeah. And even the supply chain team that is working, even demand team, supply planning, inventory management, production, and logistics, they have to be they have to collect different capability, different than other colleagues in different industries. Like, it's very important and recommended to have good knowledge of project management
Mhm.
for the customer project management. And it's very important. And by the way, I believe also from the previous session that you have with great thought leaders, that we all agree that project management is combined capability and is very essential capability in the supply chain world. And to make successful even S&OP, you will go through some projects. So project management skills is very key, important skill that you need to build on your capability to reach maturity of your process and S&OP cycle. So it's really very important to, I totally agree. It's very important to build the different capability and to recognize where you are from this capability today to go and reach your maturity. How you want to reach the customer in more responsive way, how you want to make more or less optimized solution to suit your S&OP model. This is very key question to the capabilities that you need to build inside your team when you are handling ETO and MTO.
Great,
If you allow
great
me, if you
points.
allow me,
Please,
if you allow.
please. Thank
Thank you,
you,
Ahmed.
Kabil. It's a great way to
Thank you.
summarize, really, and
Thank you.
you deserve this applause. As you said, the supply relationship management is very
Thank you.
important in this, and how not to depend on single sourcing, multiple sourcing to be more responsive. So it was great answer. I see that we have another question here from our friend Fatima Zahra Nabili. In retail, we apply MTS as a basic aspect to run our production, but the demand is always a mystery, she's saying. But either you follow average demand, knife, how S&OP can be efficient in that case, especially cost fluctuations are crazy. Talking here about food retail. I think we all worked in food retail, so let's take the answer.
Yeah.
Kabil, Khaled, maybe me, will all answer this question: how to deal with demand
Yeah.
fluctuations in food industry and
I
managing
will
this
leave
in
this question to
S&OP.
you.
I know, yeah, you've been working some time, of course, you've been out, but you have a lot of experience also in food industry, but we can take it, no problem. Khaled, you can start.
Yes, for sure. I think it's the food industry itself. It's very unique industry, and if I can categorize most of the food industries, it's been categorized under perishable products. And if we speak about perishable products, I would say that one of the biggest major challenges in this industry, it's the shelf lifetime. So you are always in a race between just fulfilling the orders with the customers and optimizing your inventory just to not have any obsolete stocks or expiry. Because if we dig deep into some of the food industry, you will see that they have short shelf lifetime. So sourcing strategy itself, it plays very big role in managing your portfolio or just success of your portfolio in the marketplace. So I'll give you an example. Companies, they struggle and they create big business cases, amazing business cases. They import the finished goods for let's say for the products or the food industry from across border, with very long lead time, and they don't realize that there is cumulative lead time. There is always also at the same time from the retail side there is acceptable shelf lifetime. Whenever you want, whatever you want, they will have like restricted shelf lifetime to be accepted on their shelf because they have their distribution, they have also their replenishment, and they need to have their the products there with a right balanced shelf lifetime. The challenge here, again, it's about having the right sourcing strategy, which is most probably the more that you have, the less I would say you have a room of shelf lifetime. Let's say you have 1 day, 2 days, 3 days of a shelf lifetime. The more you have to work in a sourcing way, should be localized. So your factories, your manufacturing entity should be localized and should be near to the customer. And working in a make to stock in that manner will not serve you anymore. Just working in make to order, and from the other side securing as a capacities from manufacturing side, it's non optional. Because again, if you want to cater for a high responsiveness, and if you have some challenges in the capacity across supply chain, not just talking only about manufacturing, could be logistics, could be whatever you want in any supply chain nodes of your supply chain nodes, depends on your supply chain network. You have to have a spare capacity. You have to have a spare capacity just to cater for. So my advice for this food industry, just spare the capacity, okay, have a bright capacity, depends on the desired service level that you want, and move from make to stock into make to order and work on your sourcing strategies. This is what I can say from experience.
I agree with you. Of course, this will lessen the obsolete stock, of course, and maybe you can work on also on a hybrid model. We worked that on a hybrid model. Some items that you have, of course, to classify. Also, inventory management here is very important. You have to classify according to ABC analysis. If you know the 80/20, the XYZ, you have to study your products very well. If you're talking about demand, because you're talking about demand is always a mystery, you will find two, three products or five, 10 products maybe that you can little bit depict the demand or see the demand trends. So you can work on those. Others you can the B or C you can try to move to make to order. Have spare capacity to manage the fluctuations in demand and supply. Now we are in an era of disruption, as you can see, the war, the what's happening in China, the lockdowns, all that. So always the lead time is longer when you are supplying, and there is a lot of deviation in demand due to all these kinds of problems. So, as Ahmed said, work on multiple sourcing, work on nearshoring, on localization, manage your demand and inventory according to ABC. Manage your order management is very important in order to manage any backlog orders, to make sure that you receive the orders on time, to make sure that the customers you give you the orders on a specific date and
Agreed.
this, meeting the quantity of if you're working on that. There's a lot of points, and this really needs like 2 3 episodes to talk about. But thank you so much for the question, and I hope we answered some of it. Fatima, Kabil, if you have any points to add.
Yeah, I do agree with you. For sure, you have already killed it. But I would add also again jumping in the demand, deep
Yeah.
dive on your demand. So, for example, in food industry, we are dealing with consumer behavior and traditions and seasons as well. So today, if I will speak about the Egyptian market, we have the calendar, the yearly calendar is really well known for everybody. So today, tomorrow we have the Easter. Today we have the Easter,
Mm.
Egyptian Easter. So or the Oriental Easter, and next week will be the Ramadan Eid, and then
Mm.
there is the Payram, and then there is the summer vacation, and then there is the back to school, and then there is
Yeah.
the
The
Halloween.
promotion
So
calendar is known. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the event and
Yes.
activity planning, I see it is a
Mm.
big area for development, for especially company that's working in the Middle East region. I believe it's very important, and we have a very great example, as you said, Hamamsi and Khalid, and Unilever, and very big companies that is very well established in that area, that they are doing a very good job. Today, this is a part of the management team to go through the maturity, to increase the team maturity and the learning journey maturity of their S&OP cycle, to tackle this kind of demand planning with event management proper and aligned across the different functions across the organization.
Yes. Definitely.
Great,
Definitely. Great.
great.
Great. Khabil.
Thank you,
Thank you
Kabil,
for your.
for adding this valuable point. So I think we have our amazing brother Sabah Al Bahnasawi. He is
Yeah.
asking, can we apply
Not
risk
risk.
pooling in MTO and ETO?
Yeah, so this is an interesting question. For sure, I believe the nowadays and in my aspect, and even in supply chain learning, and the new, let's say, published publishment that happening in the supply chain and the S&OP, that the risk mitigation and the risk planning become, now it's not a luxury anymore. It's
Yes.
not it's not 1 year, one annual event that you do it. Every 1 year you review the risk management and the business continuity plan. I believe now some of organization and important organization are running running it on quarterly and even monthly. In some cases, I know my company is running it on monthly basis, especially for
Yes.
some aspect like Hamamsa said, like logistics, for example. This is it become even a weekly newsletter
Yes.
So now it's very important, and it's really very important, as Khalid said, to work on your sourcing capability, supply risk mitigation. So they have to be scenario building. So you have to be
100%.
mitigation plan A, mitigation plan B. What's control A? Before mitigation, I prefer control first as we
Mm,
go through the process. So the control plan A, control plan B, mitigation plan A, mitigation plan B. And even it's very important nowadays to work through CBFR concept, that is collaborative planning and forecasting and replenishment
mm,
concept. And it is very important now to digitize it. So we
mm.
see a lot today. We see after the acceleration of the COVID to the digitization era, we see today a lot of companies are building portals and are building programs and applications to tackle how to together we mitigate risk. So it's not become it's not only one company. We can have lobby of companies that we
Yes.
together mitigate the risk of certain commodity. We do it for sure. I know a lot of companies do it intra-company activity, and this is very common in the automotive industry and even in the electronic industry. So we have this kind of risk mitigation pooling program and portals that we have to tackle. The key is how to use it and the guidelines to govern the governance of this program. You have to input it inside your DNA of the process. So it's very important, and also to tackle where you define the key parameters to utilize this kind of scenario building. So it's very important. I can see it become from my point of view, one of the most important of S&OP Step 5, which is the executive committee, more or less, meeting. They have
Mm.
to tackle the risk mitigation plan for mid
Yes.
and long term as a part, essential part, and they have to give to set the direction to the total organization where we are going in that direction. Are we going to, for example, today, as you shared before in previous sessions, with other fantastic thought leaders, what we used to do in the past, it can be different today. So in the
Yes.
past we were saying that we need as minimum stock as we are, or as lean stock as we know. Today we have to put some strategic stocks from
Mm.
different commodities that we have. The supply strategy of these commodities is depending on, for example, Asian markets. So today the frequency of reviewing the risk mitigation plan is different.
It's
It
high.
have to be,
Yes.
yeah, it have to be high frequent. It have to be organized, and the scenario building have to be respected with the rules. And I know that some companies, for sure, the more mature companies are doing it in a good way. However, I encourage medium and local companies to reach out these new applications because it will help them a lot.
Yes, to
100%.
invest a little bit or for these companies, because some of these companies they think it's a luxury or it's only for the big companies, and but if you give them like the right return on investment and how this will help them, they will definitely start to invest. Thank you, Qabil.
Yeah,
That was a great
100%. If you
answer.
allow me, I'll add
Mm.
something also over and above
Yes.
the amazing insights that was given by Qabil. I think risk pooling here, we have internal risks, definitely, that maybe it comes from the organization, and external risks. And I think Qabil, he covered it 100% from the external risk. It could be catastrophic disasters, some of disruptions that happens, as Hamamsi said, wars, political situations, some changes in the regulations of each country that stops
Yes.
anything that could happen in that way. And this definitely, it has to have like a resilience from the supply chain to find a way and to have like earlier planning, as being said by Ahmad Qabil, that we need to plan it earlier from that way. I think, I don't want to say just to generalize it, but most organizations, they don't have the maturity of having the experience in that. So in that external, I would say, risk just management, you have to seek a support from experienced people, because again, one just risk can expose your total company to a bankruptcy. So don't just look at it that it's something easy. We are going a lot of we can share a lot of stories that companies that they used to use just the normal way, and one disruption happened and they were out of the market. So this from the external one. I think also Samah what he said, the risk pooling also from the internal side. It's not only just from one side, but I say that could be also from the make to order and engineering to order. Risk pooling is how you will manage your stocks, because again, if you don't have a contracts that it's very firm and aligned with your customers, if there is any change on the project, when once we sign the project, and if there is any change in the quantity or in the project scope itself, then there will be a penalties, because again it will make the organization also secured, not being out. Imagine to me that I have like a project that it takes my 50% from my resources, and it affects definitely my order to cash cycle. And once suddenly this project got out or a change happened in this project, so if you are not secured from contracts terms, I would say, and penalties, all of this, your company could be exposed and could be out also of the market, or your order to cash will be devastated. So all of these terms also from the organizational side should be covered from the contract inside the organization, and should have, as Kabil said, leverage the capabilities of people inside to understand what's happening and how we can put this in the right manner with our customers, aligned with it, so everyone has the mutual benefits and there is no risk from this side and from that side. So risks could be managed also internally and externally.
Internally. Great,
Yes.
great, great
Thank
answer.
you, guys. So I'll jump into the next question. Hamamsi, you can say, because my
What
eyes.
is the best solution for MTO while the product is customized based on customer needs? In other words, we don't know what would be sold and how would be produced.
Yeah. I believe this question is related to what we start our discussion of that it's very essential to deep dive on the quotation that you give
Yeah,
to
Mm,
the customer. Uh, so it's very essential that you tackle your demand in a great manner and to deep dive in your demand, because today you give quotation to the customer. You have to make sure and understanding what's inside this quotation. So it's very important. It's very important to know and to understand which type of product specification and solution you are providing, which is your basic or high runner configurations, and which is your specific options, let's say, that have to be complex in supply manner and have different lead time. There's different aspect that you can approach that. For example, one of them is to if you have very specific items with lead time, high lead time, you can agree, as Ahmed Khaled said, with your customer in the contract, that this specific specification we would procure it before the final approval or the final kickoff of the production by, for example, 2 months or 1.5 months. This kind of approach is very important, and it share collaborative planning. That what we were saying in the SLA between you and the company and the customer. Sorry, it's very important because it share your concerns and complexity with your customer that he already and is dealing with in the field with you, and maybe your competitors, they most probably they have the same situation. So it's very important that you write it down in an SLA, service level agreement, that the customer
yeah,
can be aligned on, and you take the risk together towards securing his requirement in appropriate time. So it is a win-win situation. So this is, I believe, what summarize this question is tackling demand, deep dive in your demand, analyze your demand correctly with engineering capability and tendering team capability, plus put service level agreement to ensure that you are tackling the supply chain complexity in the right manner and in timely manner with your customer. Take collaborative decisions with your customer and aim to succeed to deliver on time.
If you allow me,
great.
please.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Kabil.
Thank you, Kabil. The last, of
Thank
course,
you.
summarizing was
I
great,
think
and delivering on time, as you're saying, the customer relationship management, all this is very important currently, especially with all this disruptions that's happening. So great way to answer it, Kabil. Thank you
yeah,
so
yeah.
much.
Yes. Thank you, Kabil. Go into the next question. Hamsi, can you see?
Grevzan saying while the demand is more predictable in BTO and ETO as again BTS, S&OP plays a critical role in balancing the supplies, which are critical in ETO. So this is a comment from Grevzan. Thank you for sharing with
Thank
us
you.
Thank you.
your
And
It's a
thoughts.
great comment. Yeah.
yes, thank you.
Integrating your supply chain is more important than ETO. Managing supplies is as critical as
Ex-
managing demands. Yes,
ex-
definitely.
exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Totally agree.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Dr. Fatima? Yes.
But at that, there will be no strategic planning, more sourcing and operational planning, right? Fatima, I'll say we must have a strategy because the strategy is very important in company. Some companies work and go focus on the day-to-day operations while they don't know where they are heading. So the strategy and the vision for any company, it's very important. It directs the company. Like you, for example, put a vision for the company in 2030. We need to reach 1 billion customers, whatever. You put this vision, and this vision cascades to all departments. All departments will start to be motivated to work. They will start to understand where are we heading, and then this will be reflected to sourcing, that will be reflected to the operations. Everyone will understand where the company is going. Even the worker who's working in the small worker who's working inside the factory will understand where the company is heading. This is very important to motivate people. It's very important to understand where the company is heading, where the company financials is heading, where we want to take the company, the vision of the company. You see big companies like Apple, like Amazon. For example, Amazon put their vision is to serve the customer and pamper the customer as much as they can. Now, if you order Amazon from anywhere in the world, less than a day, you'll find it coming to you. If you have any complaint, I see them. They don't refund. They exchange in less than a day. Also, they don't discuss with you. So this is their unique selling proposition. They are serving the customer. That's why their brand, the power and the strength of their brand. They're serving the people very quickly, and that's how they are growing their markets. So strategy, you cannot avoid the strategy. Strategy is very important. Sometimes for teams like us, like supply chain, as we're dealing with a lot of VUCA, a lot of problems, a lot of things, we are taken in this day-to-day operations problems without a vision, without strategy, which is very important to. This is the role of the top management, to direct and guide all the departments on the strategy and the vision.
Adding
Yeah.
to you, Hamsi, it's
Mm.
definitely very insightful. Adding to you again, let's come back to the core objective of S&OP. It's not just fulfilling KPIs. If the strategy of the business has a conflict with your supply chain strategy, then you are not implementing the right S&OP. Why I'm saying this, you could have a business strategy X and you are moving in another direction, and your supply chain strategy it's in another direction. Then the S&OP is not successful at this way. So again, supply chain strategy should serve your business strategy. This is the aim of S&OP. So if you're deviating away from the business strategy, you have to redirect it again. Check if your sourcing strategy, as you said, Fatima, if your sourcing strategy is serving the business, yes or no. If no, then you have to rework it. Even if your operational planning is not serving, you have to rework it. And if I know maybe there will be a struggle in that. Could be the CEOs or the owners or whatever. Depends on the scalability of the business. They don't know what are you talking about, but it's your role to show them that guys, in order to reach this desired service level or in order to cater for these top line sales, we have to implement this, and this is the game of the role of ourselves, just to show if there is any a gap between the business strategy or whatever functional strategy, you
Yes.
have to show it and speak about it.
Great add.
Totally.
Thank you,
Yes.
Ahmed. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you.
Ahmed. And if I would complement on that, if you allow me,
Yes,
uh,
please.
I once have a meeting with a very inspiring boss in Schneider, and this guy told me that this is what you said exactly. We're in supply chain and operations. We are putting our hand inside
Yes,
our laptops and inside, and we don't know where we have to build and what's our strategy to succeed.
yes,
So it's very important to answer four questions, which is who we are as a company or organization. So this is very important. And then where we want to go.
yes,
So where we are aiming. This is the second question. The third question is where we are today from from
Mhm.
that.
yes,
And
Yeah.
then
How
the
can we
fourth
get there?
one, how can we get there? These
yes.
four questions are really deep. It's not
100%.
easy. Yeah, it's not easy questions. These questions, if you didn't start your journey with, you will not go in a planned way. You can reach success, but it cannot sustain. It will be sporadic
So,
success.
By
It will
luck.
be random success. Yeah, and it happened because we have a market which is really having big potential to succeed. So you can succeed, but to sustain your success, it have to be through drawing your vision. And on that, I what I usually do is using 3S concept, which is
mm,
putting your synthesis. So put
mm,
the assumptions as synthesis,
mm,
simplify as
mm.
much as you can, and go straight to the point. Those are really very the values that can help you to answer this question. And if you answer this question collectively, not everyone in his office, so as a management team collectively, and building this shared vision, you will succeed.
If you
Definitely,
allow me.
definitely.
If you allow me. Impressive,
Thank you,
Dr.
Kabil.
Kabil. Thank you so much for this amazing one. So
Thank you,
we'll
David.
jump into the next question. So up to you, Dr. Hamamsi.
No, I don't see a question here. It's just a comment. So thank you, Dr.
Okay,
Atama Guru, for joining us, of course, and
thank you, Doctor.
thank you so much.
Fatima, she's saying thanks, dear. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fatima. I
Thank
hope we
you.
met all your inquiries and questions. Thank you so much
Yes, thank
for
you.
all your. Ala
We have
Nahal is
our
saying,
friend.
yeah, Ala
على
Nahal,
أي
can we
حال.
merge ETO and other industrial models to standardize part of manufacturing process and facilitate supply chain manufacturing operations? Thanks in advance. Ala Nahal, yes. Thank you,
على أي
Ala.
حال is my great friend and is also one of my mentors. So thank you so much
But can
for
we
your
give him
question.
Thank
applause,
you.
please? Can we give him
Please.
applause, please? Okay,
Thank you,
you
Ala.
can go.
Thank you, Ala.
Thank you, Ala.
Yes.
Go ahead, Ahmed. Go ahead. Uh,
Really, it's an important question. Yes, yes, yes.
Mm,
So really, it's important question because some companies have the mixed model inside within the organization. So they have different type of speed or let's say velocity.
manufacturing
I-
models,
I-
yes. Yes.
yeah, it's
Yes.
different velocity. This someone have to run very fast, someone have to be a little bit slower, but
Slower.
more yeah, but more into
mhm.
analysis and more into preparation of so this is it's key. However, you have to the first one or the first point is you have to identify which model serve your customer better. So
Yeah.
this is very important for me. I have the very famous to put it in a clear way, the very famous example of the coffee shop, the coffee
Mm,
machine or the coffee shop. So and this is what's summarized by the supply chain S&OP, how the handbook, the how-to handbook,
mm,
which will speak about the production to delivery ratio time. So if you want to drink very fast coffee when you are going to the work in 5 minutes, for sure you will go to one of the stores that's inside the oil stations that make the coffee in 5 minutes. You will target
Yeah.
this service provider because you want, as a customer in that time, to drink the coffee in 5 minutes. However, if you are going by the night with your friends to sit on a coffee shop, you are willing to wait the same coffee in 15
Mm,
minutes or more. The
Yes.
same cup of coffee, you are willing to wait 15 minutes or more. So the first one is to identify the customer voice. So you have to collect your customer voice and to segment your customer and see which P to D ratio, production to delivery ratio, that
Mm.
suits this customer. Then this will answer the question how to tackle the environment to go and approach this product family towards your customer. Then it's easy if you have different. It's not easy, but it's manageable if you have different approaches to manage each one with the aspects, and then maybe collaborate at the end of the full picture to have. I manage this as an ETO. I manage this product family as make to stock. I approaching the customer. So I
Mm.
build the different capability for the different team handling the different mixed model of business. This is my opinion.
I totally agree with you. So yes, in companies it won't be like in some companies won't be only engineer to order, make to order, make to. So I think in most of the companies you have the two or three models. Like if you're doing for a launch, it can be an engineer to order, and you have the R&D starting the project for 2 3 years to find new products. So this is like an engineering to order. You have some customers that you work on make to order because, for example, they don't pay on time. You're not very comfortable with them, so you are waiting for them to take the order from them, so you don't want to stock from their products. And you have the fast moving, the customers that you know that they pay fast and their products are like the cash cows of the company. So you have this make to stock from them. You are comfortable to stock from their products, and you know that there will be a fast replenishment. So I totally agree. There can be mixed models in
yeah,
companies.
yeah, 100%. I could add something here. I think if we are talking about standardization, we have to come at the beginning of the design of the product itself. And I believe there are two parts in that way. As Kabil said at the beginning, we could have
Yes.
a modular just customization, or you could have integral design. So the more you understand your products and your components, and you build the capabilities around them, the more that you can, have a better design, whether it will be like modular. So you can have, like, better responsiveness, and just to not have, something like unique designs. So the more you give yourself a chance to understand your products and customize these designs based on your available manufacturing, equipments, and understanding
Yes.
this will allow you to play a big part in your manufacturing, part, and to standardize the process and even to be more responsive. So give yourself a time to study the products. I know that maybe it's engineered to order, I understand, but definitely I'm sure there are some products or some components that could be like common across most of the projects. If we
Yes.
can work on those strategies, how to make it more customized in the right way, this would definitely help I would say the lead time of the manufacturing. It will be reduced massively. So this is just my advice. Yes.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. I think let's have the last question.
The final
Our
question, yeah, we passed our hour, but it's really an interesting subject
yeah,
and
it's lovely. Yes.
great questions from our
Yes.
audience and
So
of
yeah.
course from our great guest Ahmed. Great
Thank you.
answers.
Thank you,
Sure.
Shabab.
Thank you,
Wallah.
guys. I will jump to the last question.
How
Our friend.
important Zil Homan Yazi? How important is for ETO companies to rely on customer relationship management software? Good question, I
Yeah,
think, Ahmed.
yeah. Good question. It's crucial. It's very, very
Mhm.
important because as I was trying to elaborate maybe in the beginning of the session, and I should emphasize more. that deep diving in your demand is key success to the ETO model. And unfortunately, a lot of companies that start the ETO model, they said, okay, the customer will change the requirements every day, so we will not track. We will not track these requirements.
Yeah.
We will wait. We will wait until he sign the contract to start. This is completely wrong. This is completely will give you a race that you will start a race with 5 steps behind. So the success will be, it's not likely. It will be very difficult. So using a proper and sometime customized CRM software to collect your quotation for in ETO, it become quotation more or less. So
Yeah.
to collect the customer data, the customer preferences, and your offering, and this is what I start with. The first step usually in S&OP, which is the activity planning in the MTS world. It is the offer road mapping in the ETO world. What's your offer? The offering, the solution, and the integration between what's your offering and the solution to the customer. If you can and you are able to collect that on a proper CRM software, this will be the key success to your S&OP and your optimized model for planning and execution. So definitely, I totally agree on that, and this is where I agree also with Hamamsi and Khalid that some of the organization, especially the medium and local and regional organization, they don't invest in such kind of tools
Yes.
and capabilities. I will not say tool, I will say capability, because with the tool it builds the team capability, and when it is utilized in the right way, it will build the company capability as well. So if they
Definitely.
don't invest in that, they will be definitely
Behind.
taking a lot. Yeah, they will be behind. Either they will have to collect the same data with a lot of effort and time, or they will not collect it and they will start the race with 5 steps in behind.
Thank you,
Great.
Kabil. Again, we would like to thank you for your amazing insights and lovely experience. We keep saying this and we keep repeating this. It's a knowledge and experience that we will never find in the books. We'd like to thank you for your valuable times. We would like to thank you for the 14 years of experience that you give it us. It's like condensed in 1 hour. Definitely, I hope that we can have more and more episodes based on your lovely experience and based on your amazing values. So hopefully that we can meet again. Would like also to thank our lovely audience for their
Yeah.
engagement and
Thank
the
you.
great questions for that, and
Yes.
definitely Dr.
Spot on.
Hamamsi for being here also.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you,
I
Ahmed.
would like
Thank you. Thank
to
you.
thank you both Ahmed and Hamamsi. You are inspiring to us. For me, when I even make some make I work as part time as instructor. So when I make give some sessions, I take a lot of your videos because, as you said, it summarizes a lot of books. Yes, it summarizes a lot of experiences, and you really inspire us all. Thank you so much
Thank
today
you.
for having me. It's really a
Thank you,
pleasure and
Ahmed,
honor.
so much.
And
Thank
I
you
would
so
like to
much.
thank the great audience and participant today.
Yes.
They were
Yes.
amazing, and
The
engagement was
questions were
fantastic.
great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
Yes.
you
yeah.
so
Thank you so
much.
much. Have a Ramadan
Thank you.
Kareem and have a
Thank you.
nice vacation.
Thank you
Thank
so
Thank
you.
you.